God is the all-doer. The jnani is a non-doer. Some Mahatmas, enlightened beings, maintain that the world is neither an accident nor a play of God, but the result and expression of a mighty plan of work aiming at awakening and developing consciousness throughout the universe, from lifelessness to life, from unconsciousness to consciousness, from dullness to bright intelligence, from misapprehension to clarity. That is the direction in which the world moves ceaselessly and relentlessly. Of course, there are moments of rest and apparent darkness when the universe seems to be dormant, but the rest comes to an end and the work on consciousness is resumed. From our point of view, the world is a dale of tears, a place to escape from, as soon as possible and by every possible means. To enlightened beings, the world is good and it serves a good purpose. They do not deny that the world is a mental structure and that it ultimately all is one. But they see and say that the structure has meaning and serves a supremely desirable purpose. What we call the will of God is not a capricious whim of playful deity, but the expression of an absolute necessity to grow in love and wisdom and power, to actualize the infinite potentials of life and consciousness. Just as the gardener grows flowers from a tiny seed to glorious perfection, so God in his own garden grows, among other beings, men to supermen, who know and love and work along with him. When God takes rest, pralaya, those whose growth was not completed become unconscious for a time, while the perfect ones, who have gone beyond all forms and contents of consciousness, remain aware of the universal silence. When the time comes for the emergence of a new universe, the sleepers wake up and their work starts. The more advanced wake up first and prepare the ground for the less advanced, who thus find forms and patterns of behavior suitable for their further growth. Thus runs the story. The difference with your teaching is this. You insist that the world is no good and should be shunned. They say that distaste for the world is a passing stage, necessary yet temporary, and is soon replaced by an all-pervading love and a steady will to work with God. All you say is right for the outgoing pravritti path. For the path of return, nivriti, noting oneself, is necessary. My stand I take where nothing paramakash is, words do not reach there, nor thoughts. To the mind it is all darkness and silence. Then consciousness begins to stir and wakes up the mind, chidakash, which projects the world, mahadakash, built of memory and imagination. Once the world comes into being, all you say may be so. It is in the nature of the mind to imagine goals, to strive towards them, to seek out means and ways, to display vision, energy, and courage. These are divine attributes, and I do not deny them. But I take my stand where no difference exists, where things are not, nor the minds that create them. There I am at home. Whatever happens does not affect me. Things act on things, that is all. Free from memory and expectation. I am fresh, innocent, and wholehearted. Mind is the great worker, mahakarta, and it needs rest. Needing nothing, I am unafraid. Whom to be afraid of? There is no separation. We are not separate selves. There is only one self, the supreme reality, in which the personal and the impersonal are one. All I want is to be able to help the world. Who says you cannot help? You made up your mind about what help means and needs, and you get yourself into a conflict between what you should and what you can, between necessity and ability. But why do we do so? Your mind projects a structure and you identify yourself with it. It is in the nature of desire to prompt the mind to create a world for its fulfillment. Even a small desire can start a long line of action. What about a strong desire? Desire can produce a universe. Its powers are miraculous. Just as a small matchstick can set a huge forest on fire, so does a desire light the fires of manifestation. The very purpose of creation is the fulfillment of desire. The desire may be noble or ignoble. Space, Akash, is neutral. One can fill it with what one likes. You must be very careful as to what you desire, and as to the people you want to help. They are in their respective worlds for the sake of their desires. There's no way of helping them except through their desires. You can only teach them to have right desires so that they may rise above them and be free from the urge to create and recreate worlds of desires, abodes of pain and pleasure. A day must come when the show is wound up. A man must die. A universe comes to an end. Just as a sleeping man forgets all and wakes up for another day, or he dies and emerges into another life, so do the worlds of desire and fear dissolve and disappear. But the universal witness, the Supreme Self, never sleeps and never dies. Eternally the great heart beats, and at each beat a new universe comes into being. Is he conscious? He is beyond all that the mind conceives. He is beyond being and not being. He is the yes and no to everything, beyond and within, creating and destroying, unimaginably real. God and the Mahatma, are they one or two? They are one. There must be some difference. God is the all-doer, the jnani is a non-doer. God himself does not say, I am doing all. To him, things happen by their own nature. To the jnani, all is done by God. He sees no difference between God and nature. Both God and the jnani know themselves to be the immovable center of the movable, the eternal witness of the transient. The center is the point of void, and the witness a point of pure awareness. They know themselves to be as nothing. Therefore nothing can resist them. How does this look and feel in your personal experience? Being nothing, I am all. Everything is me. Everything is mine. Just as my body moves by mere thinking of the movement, so do things happen as I think of them. Mind you, I do nothing. I just see them happen. Do the things happen as you want them to happen, or do you want them to happen as they happen? Both I accept and am accepted. I am all, and all is me. Being the world, I am not afraid of the world. Being all, what am I to be afraid of? Water is not afraid of water, nor fire of fire. Also, I am not afraid because I am nothing that can experience fear or can be in danger. I have no shape, nor name. It is attachment to a name and shape that breeds fear. I am not attached. I am nothing, and nothing is afraid of no thing. On the contrary, everything is afraid of the nothing, for when a thing touches nothing, it becomes nothing. It is like a bottomless well. Whatever falls into it disappears. Isn't God a person? As long as you think yourself to be a person, he too is a person. When you are all, you see him as all. Can I change facts by changing attitude? The attitude is the fact. Take anger. I may be furious, pacing the room up and down. At the same time, I know what I am. A center of wisdom and love, an atom of pure existence. All subsides, and the mind merges into silence. Still, you are angry sometimes. With whom am I to be angry, and for what? Anger came and dissolved on my remembering myself. It is all a play of gunas, qualities of cosmic matter. When I identify myself with them, I am their slave. When I stand apart, I am their master. Can you influence the world by your attitude? By separating yourself from the world, you lose all hope of helping it. How can it be? All is myself. Can't I help myself? I do not identify myself with anybody in particular, for I am all, both the particular and the universal. Can you then help me, the particular person? But I do help you always from within. Myself and yourself are one. I know it, but you don't. That is all the difference, and it cannot last. And how do you help the entire world? Gandhi is dead, yet his mind pervades the world. The thought of a jnani pervades humanity and works ceaselessly for good. Being anonymous, coming from within, it is the more powerful and compelling. That is how the world improves, the inner aiding and blessing the outer. When the jnani dies, he is no more. In the same sense in which a river is no more when it merges in the sea, the name, the shape are no more, but the water remains and becomes one with the ocean. When a jnani joins the universal mind, all his goodness and wisdom become the heritage of humanity and uplift every human being. We are all attached to our personality, our individuality, our being unlike others, we value very much. You seem to denounce both as useless. You're unmanifested. Of what use is it to us? Unmanifested, manifested individuality, personality, nirguna, saguna, vayakti. All these are mere words, points of view, mental attitudes. There is no reality in them. The real is experienced in silence. You cling to personality, but you are conscious of being a person only when you are in trouble. When you are not in trouble, you do not think of yourself. You did not tell me the uses of the unmanifested. Surely you must sleep in order to wake up. You must die in order to live. You must melt down to shape anew. You must destroy to build, annihilate before creation. The Supreme is the universal solvent. It corrodes every container. It burns through every obstacle. Without the absolute denial of everything, the tyranny of things would be absolute. The Supreme is the great harmonizer, the guarantee of the ultimate and perfect balance, of life in freedom. It dissolves you and thus reasserts your true being. It is all well on its own level, but how does it work in daily life? The daily life is a life of action. Whether you like it or not, you must function. Whatever you do for your own sake accumulates and becomes explosive. One day it goes off and plays havoc with you and your world. When you deceive yourself that you work for the good of all, it makes matters worse. For you should not be guided by your own ideas of what is good for others. A man who claims to know what is good for others is dangerous. How is one to work then? Neither for yourself nor for others, but for the work's own sake. A thing's worth doing is its own purpose and meaning, making nothing a means to something else. Bind not. God does not create one thing to serve another. Each is made for its own sake. Because it is made for itself, it does not interfere. You are using things and people for purposes alien to them, and you play havoc with the world and yourself. A real being is all the time with us, you say. How is it that we do not notice it? Yes, you are always the Supreme, but your attention is fixed on things, physical or mental, when your attention is off a thing, and not yet fixed on another. In the interval, you are pure being. When through the practice of discrimination and detachment, viveka vairagya, you lose sight of sensory and mental states, pure being emerges as the natural state. How does one bring an end to this sense of separateness? By focusing the mind on I am, on the sense of being. I am so-and-so dissolves, I am a witness only remains, and that too submerges in I am all. And then the all becomes the one and the one yourself, not to be separate from me. Abandon the idea of a separate I, and the question of whose experience will not arise. You speak from your own experience. How can I make it mine? You speak of my experience as different from your experience because you believe we are separate, but we are not. On a deeper level, my experience is your experience. Dive deep within yourself, and you will find it easily and simply. Go in the direction of I am. Discrimination leads to detachment. You are all drenched, for it is raining hard. In my world it is always fine weather. There is no night or day, nor heat nor cold. No worries beset me. No worries beset me there, no regrets. My mind is free of thoughts, for there are no desires to slave for. Are there two worlds? Your world is transient, changeful. My world is perfect, changeless. You can tell me what you like about your world. I shall listen carefully, even with interest, yet not for a moment shall I forget that your world is not, that you are dreaming. What distinguishes your world from mine? My world has no characteristics by which it can be identified. You can say nothing about it. I am my world. My world is myself. It is complete and perfect. Every impression is erased, every experience rejected. I need nothing, not even myself. For myself I cannot lose. Not even God? All these ideas and distinctions exist in your world. In mine there is nothing of the kind. My world is single and very simple. Nothing happens there. Whatever happens is in your world. Only there it has validity and evokes response. In my world nothing happens. The very fact of your experiencing your world implies duality inherent in all experience. Verbally, yes, but your words do not reach me. Mine is a non-verbal world. In your world the unspoken has no existence. In mine, the words and their contents have no being. In your world nothing stays. In mine, nothing changes. My world is real, while your world is made of dreams. Yet we are talking. The talk is in your world. In mine there is eternal silence. My silence sings. My emptiness is full. I lack nothing. You cannot know my world until you are there. It seems as if you alone are in your world. How can you say alone or not alone when words do not apply? Of course I am alone, for I am all. Are you ever coming into our world? What is coming and going to me? These again are words. I am, whence am I to come from, and where to go? Of what use is your world to me? You should consider more closely your own world, examine it critically, and suddenly, one day, you will find yourself in mine. What do we gain by it? You gain nothing. You leave behind what is not your own and find what you have never lost, your own being. Who is the ruler of your world? There is no ruler and ruled here. There is no duality whatsoever. You are merely projecting your own ideas. Your scriptures and your gods have no meaning here. Still you have a name and shape, display consciousness and activity. In your world I appear so. In mine I have being only, nothing else. You people are rich with your ideas of possession, of quantity and quality. I am completely without ideas. In my world there is disturbance, distress, and despair. You seem to be living on some hidden income while I am a slave for a living. Do as you please. You are free to leave your world for mine. How is the crossing done? See your world as it is, not as you imagine it to be. Discrimination will lead to detachment. Detachment will ensure right action. Right action will build the inner bridge to your real being. Action is a proof of earnestness. Do what you are told diligently and faithfully, and all obstacles will dissolve. Are you happy? In your world I would be most miserable. To wake up, to eat, to talk, to sleep again, what a bother. So you do not want to live even. To live, to die? What meaningless words are these? When you see me alive, I am dead. When you think me dead, I am alive. How muddled up you are. How indifferent you are. All the sorrows of our world are as nothing to you. I am conscious of your troubles. Then what are you doing about them? There is nothing I need doing. They come and go. Do they go by the very act of your giving them attention? Yes, the difficulty may be physical, emotional, or mental, but it is always individual. Large-scale calamities are the sum of numberless individual destinies and take time to settle. But death is never a calamity. Even when a man is killed, the calamity is of the killer. Still, it seems there are two worlds, mine and yours. Mine is real. Yours is of the mind. Imagine a rock and a hole in the rock, and a frog in the hole. Your frog may spend its life in perfect bliss, undistracted, undisturbed. Outside the rock, the world goes on. If the frog in the hole were told about the outside world, he would say, "There is no such thing. My world is of peace and bliss." Your world is a word structure only. It has no existence. There is no such thing. My world is of peace, bliss. Your world is a word structure only. It has no existence. It is the same with you. When you tell us that our world simply does not exist, there is no common ground for discussion. Or take another example. I go to a doctor and complain of stomachache. He examines me and says, "You are all right." "But it pains," I say. "Your pain is mental," he asserts. I say, "It does not help me to know that my pain is mental. You are a doctor. Cure me of my pain. If you cannot cure me, you are not my doctor." Quite right. You have built the railroad, but for lack of a bridge, no train can pass. Build the bridge. There is no need of a bridge. There must be some link between your world and mine. There is no need of a link between a real world and an imaginary world, for there cannot be any. So what are we to do? Investigate your world. Apply your mind to it. Examine it critically. Scrutinize every idea about it. That will do. The world is too big for investigation. All I know is that I am, the world is. The world troubles me, and I trouble the world. My experience is that everything is bliss, but the desire for bliss creates pain. Thus bliss becomes the seed of pain. The entire universe of pain is born of desire. Give up the desire for pleasure, and you will not even know what is pain. Why should pleasure be the seed of pain? Because, for the sake of pleasure, you are committing many sins, and the fruits of sins are suffering and death. You say the world is of no use to us, only a tribulation. I feel it cannot be so. God is not such a fool. The world seems to me a big enterprise for bringing the potential into actual matter into life, the unconscious into full awareness. To realize the supreme, we need the experience of the opposites. Just as for building a temple, we need stone and mortar, wood and iron, glass and tiles, so for making a man into a divine sage, a master of life and death, one needs the material of every experience. As a woman goes to the market, buys provisions of every sort, comes home, cooks, bakes, and feeds her Lord, so we bake ourselves nicely in the fire of life and feed our God. Well, if you think so, act on it. Feed your God by all means. A child goes to school and learns many things, which will be of no use to it later. But in the course of learning, it grows. So do we pass through experiences without number and forget them all? But in the meantime, we grow all the time? And what is a jnani but a man with a genius for reality? This world of mine cannot be an accident. It makes sense. There must be a plan behind it. My God has a plan. If the world is false, then the plan and its creator are also false. Again, you deny the world. There is no bridge between us. There is no need of a bridge. Your mistake lies in your belief that you are born. You were never born, nor will you ever die. But you believe that you were born at a certain date and place, and that a particular body is your own. The world is, I am. These are facts. Why do you worry about the world before taking care of yourself? You want to save the world, don't you? Can you save the world before saving yourself? And what means being saved? Saved from what? From illusion? Salvation is to see things as they are. I really do not see myself related to anybody and anything, not even to a self, whatever that self may be. I remain forever undefined. I am, within and beyond, intimate and unapproachable. How did you come to it? By my trust in my Guru. He told me you alone are, and I did not doubt him. I was merely puzzling over it until I realized that it was absolutely true. Conviction by repetition. By self-realization, I found that I am conscious and happy absolutely, and only by mistake I thought I owed being consciousness bliss to the body and the world of bodies. You are not a learned man. You must not read much, and what you read or heard did perhaps not contradict itself. I am fairly well educated and have read a lot, and I have found that books and teachers contradict each other hopelessly. Hence, whatever I read or hear, I take it in a state of doubt. It may be so, it may not be so, is my first reaction. And as my mind is unable to decide what is true and what is not, I am left high and dry with my doubts. In yoga, a doubting mind is at a tremendous disadvantage. I'm glad to hear it, but my guru too taught me to doubt everything and absolutely. He said, deny existence to everything except yourself. Through desire you have created the world and its pains and pleasures. Must it be also painful? What else? By its very nature, pleasure is limited and transitory. Out of pain, desire is born. In pain, it seeks fulfillment, and it ends in the pain of frustration and despair. Pain is the background of pleasure. All seeking of pleasure is born in pain and ends in pain. All you say is clear to me, but when some physical or mental trouble comes, my mind goes dull and gray or seeks frantically for relief. What does it matter? It is the mind that is dull or restless, not you. Look, all kinds of things happen in this room. Do I cause them to happen? They just happen. So it is with you. The role of destiny unfolds itself and actualizes the inevitable. You cannot change the course of events, but you can change your attitude, and what really matters is the attitude and not the bare event. The world is the abode of desires and fears. You cannot find peace in it. For peace, you must go beyond the world. The root cause of the world is self-love. Because of it, we seek pleasure and avoid pain. Replace self-love by love of the self, and the picture changes. Brahma, the creator, is the sum total of all desires. The world is the instrument for their fulfillment. Souls take whatever pleasure they desire and pay for them in tears. Time, squares, all accounts. The law of balance reigns supreme. To a Superman, one must be a man first. Manhood is the fruit of innumerable experiences. Desire drives to experience. Hence, at its own time and level, desire is right. All this is true in a way. But a day comes when you have amassed enough and must begin to build. Then sorting out and discarding viveka vairagya are absolutely necessary. Everything must be scrutinized and the unnecessary ruthlessly destroyed. Believe me, there cannot be too much destruction. For in reality, nothing is of value. Be passionately dispassionate. That is all.